We are now at day 4 of Afrin operations, Turkish armed forces incursion into Syria, the operation called Olive Branch. And there are, of course, as always with such situations, conflicting information and also some official sum-ups and, of course, a lot of statements coming from officials, particularly from the Turkish side. So some, like me, think that this is a quagmire for Turkey. Some disagree. First of all, let me introduce you our guest, Stephen Cook, with Council of Foreign Relations, an expert on Turkey, Middle East, Egypt, all the area, all the region, following the developments with great focus. And Stephen wrote an excellent analysis of the situation just 2 days ago, which is a good read, a must read. The question is basically, the first question is, to your view, is the political and military objectives of the Turkish operation, are they very clear?
Well, first of all, thanks, Yavuz, for the invitation to join you today. I think, as articulated by the government, there are some aspects of this operation, the awkwardly called Operation Olive Branch. Some of those goals have been articulated and are clear. Others, very, very unclear. I think it is obvious that the Turkish government and the military goal there is to clear out YPG fighters in Afrin. It's believed that the presence of those fighters are a threat to Turkish national security. What's not at all clear is what the end game is for the Turks. Will they force these YPG fighters out, and then what? There was, on day 2 of the operation, Prime Minister Yildirim announced that there would be a 30-kilometer security zone in Afrin. There are countries in the region who have had very, very bad experiences with these types of security zones, and that lends to your argument about the potential for a Turkish quagmire in Syria. So it's unclear. I think after the initial military thrust into Syria, of course, it's very, very unclear how well and how the Turkish military and its allies are progressing against the YPG. But the question really is, what happens after they achieve their objectives, if they achieve their objectives? And the Turkish government has been entirely unclear about this.
And Ilhan Taner is with us from Washington, D.C. Ilhan, you have a question for Stephen?
Yes. Hi, Stephen, and thank you again for coming on. I just actually can follow up where you left. What is going to happen after Afrin? One way or another, Afrin operation is going to end, and of course it's so important how it is going to end. I was talking to Joshua Landis a couple days ago. He was arguing that US now is seriously considering changing alliance from Turkey to Syrian Kurds, or the Kurds. And he was saying that the Kurds in the region now are indispensable ally. How do you see this? Do you agree with this notion?
Well, I think that is the logical conclusion of everything that's been happening in and around Syria and Turkey over the course of the last at least 3 years, 2.5 years. When the Obama administration went searching for allies in the fight against the Islamic State, the Turks were at best ambivalent, at worst allowed the Islamic State to do Turkey's bidding against Syrian Kurds. There has been a good working relationship, even a partnership between YPG fighters and U.S. Central Command, the U.S. command that is responsible for the fight against the Islamic State. Even within the kind of foreign policy establishment and foreign policy analytic world in which I operate, there has been more discussion about the United States maintaining this relationship with the Kurds over a longer period of time, and questioning about the value of the U.S.-Turkey relationship. Now, I don't expect that if that in fact is the case, if that's the direction we're going, that one day American officials are going to step up and say, well, the relationship with Turkey is over. This is going to be a long and drawn out process. And you can see by the statements of Secretary of Defense James Mattis that there is an ongoing effort to kind of continue to work with the Turks as best as possible, figure out ways in which we can get out of the Turks' ways, the Turks can get out of the American way, and that we can work things out until this crisis passes. But the level of distrust is so great between Ankara and Washington, I can't see how this relationship can be repaired.
And Ilan, you have another one?
Let me go one more question. It was a fascinating read, and when I was reading it, I was remembering my high school years and how our teachers were teaching us the Western powers dismantling Ottoman. So it was really fascinating, and everybody should read it. They can go to Ahval and then Atlantic. As we all know, in 2013, PYD leader came to Ankara many times. They had long discussions and they had really flattering words for each other. Do you think that Turkey and PYD and Syrian Kurds, Mr. Erdogan and Syrian Kurds, could have made an alliance, or it was just a dream that was not ever going to happen?
Well, I think there really was a missed opportunity in the relationship between Turkey and Syrian Kurds. But I think what got in the way of that was Turkey's long electoral season in 2014 and 2015, where Erdogan tacked very clearly to the nationalist right for fear of ceding votes to the MHP. And for fear of ceding seats in the Grand National Assembly to the HDP. So it was a missed opportunity. I think, though, that the hard realities of Turkish politics and the hard realities of the conflict between Turkish and Kurdish nationalism made this a very, very difficult thing for even Erdogan, who is a shrewd and calculating and ultimately extraordinarily successful politician to pull off.
Just the final question about the explorers to Turkish political scene, Stephen. The game or the strategy of Erdogan seems clear: to forge, even a thicker or more staunch sort of a joint force around him with the nationalists and with the militarists and even with the large segments of the main opposition CHP now seeming to back up all the operation, its nature, etc. And that seems to aim at basically solidifying Erdogan's aim to become an eternal leader, a supreme leader of Turkey, if you will. That is very clear. He doesn't hide that kind of intention. Do you think he will have now all the odds on his side to manage, will succeed?
Well, it seems to me there are two constants in Turkish politics that are accrue to the benefit of Turkish politicians across the political spectrum. One, conflict with the Kurds, and two, conflict with the United States and conflict with the West more generally. And I don't mean conflict or shooting war. I just mean with the West in particular, a rhetorical conflict with the United States. And I think it should be part of any analysis of this operation that there is a Erdogan political need going into the 2019 elections. And of course, there's been rumblings that there could possibly be early elections. But indeed, by taking this dramatic action, he has solidified support among the nationalist right and among the nationalists within the opposition. So he's in an extremely strong domestic political position as a result of Operation Olive Branch.
Stephen Cook of Council of Foreign Relations, thank you very much for sharing your analysis with us on Ahval, and hope to see you again with us as this drama continues. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Yavuz. Thank you.